What's up, guys? This is Zed, and I'm going to answer your questions in an exclusive AMA chat for Saturday Night Online. Special thanks for Romeo for having me on this one, and let's jump straight to the questions. First question from Eric from Stockholm. What's your favorite album of all time? I don't really have a favorite album of all time because my mood changes and my taste changes, but I think one of the most influential albums of all time for me is Silverchair with Diorama, which is the album my band Dyramic was based off, that I was a part of. Still one of my favorite albums. I think musically it's timeless, and that's kind of my motivation for what I do. I want to make timeless music, so if you haven't heard it, you should check it out. Some of the best songs of all time for me personally. Next question comes from Joseph from New York City. What's your biggest tip for young upcoming producers that want to make it big in the music industry just like you? One tip I can give you is to try to be unique and be different and not be afraid of that. I know when you start and you kind of look at other people and you don't really know what to do to break through all this noise of music out there, you'll probably think the easiest way is to do something that is cool, hip, trendy, that people like and you know they will like it. But really, if you think of a long career and you want to be something people will remember, you have to be different. You have to be the one that people want to copy, and you shouldn't be the one to copy someone else. I think that's a tip I can give you. If you keep that in mind, am I really different? Am I something unique? 10 years from now, will people remember me as something that changed something? Then you probably are in a good way to become something that is very important. Next question, Julia from Melbourne. What is it that motivates you to do so many special things to your loving and devoted fans? Well, because they are so loving and so supportive, I tend to like to give something back. And I like those things to be special, like the True Colors events that I've done, where I flew my fans out to some of the most amazing places, was one way for me to give something back. I don't know why, but I just feel like I need to give something back to people, because I wouldn't be sitting here and answering your questions if it wasn't for you. Next question comes from Letitia from North Bergen. How do you think True Colors is different and similar to your first album, Clarity? Well, how is it similar and different? I think it's different because I've had the courage to put a song like True Colors on my album, and a lot of you probably know that I love to play instruments and I love to make acoustic music, and I've made acoustic music for the majority of my life, and I'm still kind of new to electronic music. But I somehow felt like I would have to use live opportunities to express that. I've never really put that on my album, and definitely haven't made that my title track. So I think that's a little different from Clarity. All the different tempos, the little subgenres I've never really experimented with. How is it similar? Well, I think, when I played for people, they still hear it Zedd. Although it sounds different, I think it has something to do with the way I write music. And that was the same process as I did in Clarity, which is where I just played the piano until I came up with something cool and started making that a song. So the chord progression kind of came first, and the melody, and every song exists in a little piano vocal demo, which I think makes the songs just sound like me. It's because I write them that way. Next question, Rebecca from Detroit. What are you most excited about with this next tour? The awesome new visuals, performing your new songs from True Colors. I am very excited about the new visuals. Good guess. We've been working on those new visuals for 5 months, I believe. I've hired one of my favorite designers there is, Beeple, to design the entire new show. And I've been kind of saving the visuals for this big new tour because, I wanted it to be a surprise. And maybe some of you even noticed that I rarely stream my sets, and part of the reason is because I never want to reveal what I have in store, and those new visuals are something pretty amazing. Some of the best looking visuals I've ever seen in my life. Performing new songs from True Colors, I am very excited. I've just started performing the majority of my album on the True Colors tour. It's down in Southeast Asia, and I played, I think, nine songs from my new album, so that is a very exciting part for sure. Next question, Nick from Salem. Where do you seek inspiration when producing a song? When I produce a song, I like to feel good. When I play a chord progression that I've never heard before, it makes me feel fresh. It makes me feel good, and I like that. So my inspiration is really just to feel good and to hear a song that I make and know that it makes me happy, there's probably a good chance it will make somebody else happy as well. I hope. Megan from Newcastle, how would you describe your fans in one word? In one word, how would I describe them? Supportive. I don't know a better word. That's kind of lame, supportive. I feel like I should have something better. I don't, though. My fans have gone through several phases of my life, starting from very complex electro, going to kind of simple, hard electro, going to something more melodic, progressive, to my new album being anywhere between acoustic pop to, really hard electro again. And I think I like for people to know that whatever I put out is just whatever I want to do, and that's what's in my heart. And I think that's the only way to be a true artist, is to just put out whatever you want to put out, whether that is different from what you've done before or not. Next question, Ellie from College Station. How do you stay positive in creating music that you love when the industry is constantly pressuring artists to create what's popular, what the people want? Well, to tell you a little story of my case, when I wrote Clarity a couple of years ago, I sent a little snippet of this to my label, and I said, guys, this is a huge song. Listen to this. I think this is the one. And everyone was like, yeah, that's cool. It's a minute of music. And when I finished it, it happened to be 4.5 minutes. And I knew this was going to be a hit because I felt it. And everybody was like, well, you have to make a shorter version. The radio's not going to play the song. It has 2 drops. Back then, drops weren't really that popular on radio yet. So everything they told me was like, basically, this is not the right structure. Try to make it popular. But, they don't really have a say in what my music sounds like. So I said, they just go with what I give them. They put it out, and it took a little while, but people really liked it, and, it became a hit. So now, after that happened, people will go and say, well, you have to make 2 drops, and the song has to be this and that long. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there's no way to predict what's going to be big and what people want. I think people sometimes like things, and sometimes you have a song that's an obvious hit and people don't like it. So might as well not waste your time in trying to be popular. Just do whatever you feel is right, and then other people will say, hey, you have to do it like that. But there's no such thing as a formula for a hit. And although some people think it's so easy to write a hit, it's not. And if you try, you'll probably see it probably won't be a hit, because you just have to hit the right timing. You have, to release it with the right people. Bottom line, just do whatever you feel is right. And if it's a hit, great. If not, you still made a great song and you're happy about it. Daniel from Panama, what are some of your favorite songs artists to listen to at the moment? That's always a great question. Let me open my iTunes. Haywire is an artist that I'm really into. I brought him out for a couple shows in Asia. He's really, really incredible and super talented. Gray is an artist I've never heard of before until I heard a remix he's done of Beautiful Now, and I was really blown away. Camo Crooked, Scout are all really talented people that I recently discovered and I'm a big fan of. Where are my questions? Next question comes from Samantha from Westminster. What do you like to do in your free time? Free time is kind of rare. If I have free time, I like to jump in my pool, which is always 97 degrees, which is way too hot, but I like it. I like to hang with my friends. I like to eat a lot of food, even though I don't look like it, but I do love food. I just like to do the normal things, like, for example, do nothing. That's one of my favorite things to do. Next question. Nathalie from Hasbrook Heights. What is the most memorable show you've played? The most memorable, probably right now, is one of the recent shows I've played, which was in Manila at the arena. It was the biggest show I've played, the biggest solo show I've played so far, with about 12,000 people. And it was one of the first full production True Colors tour shows. So for me, that was a really special one. And I really love Manila. I've always loved Manila, and I would love to come back to the Philippines and see those extremely energetic, super positive, super nice fans there. So that was one of my favorite shows. Camille from Las Vegas. Do you prefer playing larger or smaller venues? I personally prefer larger venues. I know some people prefer the intimate, smaller clubs, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I personally, because I spend so much time on the visual aspect of my show, and on the lighting design, and on the, how the lights and visuals trade off, and when the lasers come in, and when we reveal pyro, and we do this and that. When I play small venue and there's no pyro allowed and there's no LED wall, I just feel kind of naked. It sounds weird, but really I see myself more as an artist in the live world than just a DJ, because the live show is a big part of my career. So when I play smaller venues, sometimes it's cool. Like if I do an after party, I recently played an after party with Martin Garrix that we didn't announce, that we just decided to play for fun. That was a really small venue, and that was a lot of fun, and it was cool, but people didn't pay to see me. When people pay money to see me, I feel like I have to deliver, and therefore I kind of feel like I need the larger venue and, the production that comes with it. Carla from Fort Worth. Do you work with your visual artists and help come up with the concepts? Well, I kind of just answered that question. I work really closely with my visual artists. Gabe, who runs the visuals live for me, also designs visuals. So when we have a song and I have an idea, hey, what about doing something perfectly timed for that song, he can basically specifically for that show or song program something that will look like it's pre-programmed, but it's actually, he triggers it live, but it looks incredible, and we can change it anytime we want. Yeah, I definitely work really, really closely with my visual artists. Pretty much every day we talk about new ideas and try to develop the show and make it better. Arlena from Austin. Arlena or Arlena? I'll never know. What's your favorite song from True Colors and why? Right now, I would say my favorite song is Beautiful Now, but I remember the last time I was asked, I said True Colors, so either I'm lying or I'm not sure. I really do like every single song on this album. It really, the way I want people to feel about every single song is that every song is a story and makes them feel, or makes you feel a certain way. So, when you're sad, maybe you'll like True Colors. When you're happy, maybe you'll like Beautiful Now. Somewhere in between, you might like Paper Cut. I do like all those different moods on the album, and I think that's what I like about it the most, is that it is diverse and that you can find something no matter what mood you're in, and listen to this album. Next question comes from Nick from Buffalo. What is your favorite collaboration you've ever done? I think there were a few that I really liked. I think the way I worked with Logic was pretty funny, where I heard his music and I really liked it, so I followed him on Twitter and saw that he followed me back, so I DM'd him and said, hey, I love your stuff. I would love to work with you one day. So he wrote me back, hey, I love your stuff. Sent me a beat. Let's do something. So I sent him Transmission, went to grab some dinner, came back, and I had the song in my inbox with his rap on it. So that was pretty nice, because usually I spend weeks on a vocal, and I just sent somebody a little message and got a rap back. That was pretty nice. But a lot of the collaborations were great. I loved working with Gaga. I learned a lot from that. I really love working with Max Martin. I think he's one of my favorite people, artists, writers, whatever on the planet. I love that guy and loved working with him as well. Lindsay from Dallas wants to know, when was the first time you heard one of your songs on the radio, and what was your reaction? I do remember that. It was the song called Stars Come Out, which is a little older, and I was in Germany with my friends. And the radio station told me that they were going to play it at a specific time, or I think it was between something and something, so we knew we had to listen. And then it came on and sounded like crap. And I was really bummed, because I didn't know that radio had really heavy compression and limiting and EQing and all these things that I was always wondering why songs sound weird on the radio, and then I had my song and I was so stoked, and well, it was still compressed, and I learned from that, and for the next song I knew that maybe the radios need something slightly less compressed. Ellie from Alaska. If you could face swap with anyone in the world, who would it be and why? A face swap? I mean, Rooks posts lots of face swaps of me every day, and I don't like them, so I'll just say no for now. Jack from Schaumburg. What is your favorite part about EDM and its culture? I love the positivity, and I love the unity that you see at those shows. I think everybody who's ever been to a mixed genre festival has probably seen that the stage that has electronic music will a lot of the times be really packed from 12 o'clock, and everybody will go crazy like if it was the last artist to perform, where some other stages are kind of more a little slower. And I say that with all the love, and I love rock music, and I've been in a band for a long time, and I've played a lot of those shows, and seeing both sides, there's upsides and downsides for sure. But what I do love is that the electronic music scene is very supportive. I think the entire scene is based on support. If you think about it, I make a song, other people play it out, they get the nice reaction, and I get my song played by a bunch of people, and then my friends remix it, and it becomes a little part of their career. And everybody helps each other out. You know, you play each other's music, you remix each other's songs. I send my new songs that are not released to all my friends to play out. I really like that, and I enjoy that, and it's a lot of fun. And whenever we play festivals with, you know, a bunch of DJs, it's always like seeing your buddies, and it's really nice. It's fun. I think the fun part is what I like about the scene. How do I pronounce this name? Fakira from Jakarta wants to know, what's been the highlight of your Korean career since you've been a DJ producer? I think a highlight that I will never forget was winning a Grammy. That is probably something that every artist, you know, dreams of, and I've been dreaming of it, and I didn't think this would ever come true. You know, playing a sold-out arena in Manila was one of my highlights for sure. And always showing up to countries I've never been to before. I played in Vietnam, and we had a huge show. India was incredible. All these places that I've not been to before, and I show up, and there's a lot of loving fans. Makes me very happy. I'm not gonna lie. Jem from Manila. There we go again, Manila. What sets you apart from other EDM artists? I think that's a question that you guys should answer, not me. I guess I may have a different process in writing music by writing on a piano instead of really mostly writing on a computer. But I don't like to say, you know, what sets me apart or what doesn't set me apart, because I also don't really know everything about other artists, and maybe they write their songs on a piano too. So, you know, maybe you guys can answer that question. Just tweet me. Alma from San Jose wants to know, tell us the most embarrassing moment you've had. There's a lot of them. Lots of embarrassing moments. What's the most embarrassing moment? I don't even know. I'm always really embarrassed when something goes wrong in my shows, and I know most people don't even notice, but when the pyro is not on the right cue, I internally freak out and just smile and pretend like everything's great, but I'm burning inside. It's not really embarrassing, though. That was a horrible answer to this question. Let me think about this one. Maybe I'll just tweet my most embarrassing moment. Actually, I have a very embarrassing moment. A very personal embarrassing moment was when I went to the Grammys with Sunny, with Skrillex, and afterwards we met a couple of people, and Sunny introduced me to this guy, and he said, hey, this is Max. And I was like, hey, Max, great to meet you. And I kind of walked away because I thought I was just supposed to say hi, but it was actually Max Martin. And I'm a huge Max Martin fan. I just didn't know what he looked like. So later on, we see Max again. He's like, what's up, Max? And he's like, yeah, man, I like your stuff and everything. And I started thinking, wait, that can't be Max Martin. And then Sonny said something, and I realized it was Max Martin, and I felt incredibly embarrassed being such a big fan and, you know, kind of just walking away after saying hi. Whatever, next question. The next question is from Hannah from Bakersfield. What's your favorite animal? My favorite animal? I don't know. Dylan Francis. Dylan Francis is my favorite animal. The next question is from Stefan from Los Angeles. What's the story behind your song Paper Cut? Well, actually Paper Cut was originally not on the album because it didn't exist. I had an album of 11 songs a long time ago. I've planned it. I wrote it down on a board so I see where each song is and what function they have and where the little break is with True Colors. And instead of Paper Cut, there was actually another song. And then when I, started finishing the record and played through all the songs, I realized that that song that I love and I will put out sounded too similar to another song on the record, and I call it True Colors, and I give every song a color. Two songs just can't sound the same, so I decided to not put out one of those two songs, which was actually one of the strongest songs, but it just hurt the album in my opinion, and I wanted to write something that sounded different from what I usually do, and just be somewhat of a movie movie song, like a theatrical, long, epic song. And I wrote Paper Cut, and I really didn't expect it to be one of the most popular songs on the record, but it is. That was it. Those were all nice questions. Thank you guys a lot for asking the questions. Thanks to Romeo for letting me answer the questions. Thanks for watching, everybody. My name is Zedd. I hope to see you guys soon. I'm going on a large tour. It's called the True Colors Tour. And if you want to watch my show, just go online, zedd.net, facebook.com/Zedd, Twitter Zedd, everything Zedd, whatever you can find, social media /Zedd. And I will see you guys very soon.